our Saka got injured here. Whether Moses, Joshua, anybody, that Arsenal is a cost land and that probably don't even want to get to the promised land.
He's not going to play. They are knocked out of the Youth Cup to a more experienced, because we're playing 15, 16-year-olds in the Youth Cup against 17-year-old United players, and he has taken the bulk of those players and he's training them with the main team, and he's not going to play them. And with the way Carragher is behaving now with this Salah matter, it seems like he's probably one of those leaders in the team that didn't like them.
Adebayo, for the first goal, he took a strike from like 25, maybe 30 yards out, and he went to the top corner, and it was... I still remember the commentary, dynamite, absolute dynamite.
That is not right. That's my goal.
Personally, if you could feel two things, either I'm not good enough, like I'm not good enough, I mean I should even stop being a footballer. I should just watch. Either that, or the manager is a coward.
And apologies for that break in transmission. Our Saka got injured here. You know, we're talking about Arsenal and how their season probably went off after Saka got injured here and there was a break in transmission. But you didn't miss much. We were just talking about Arsenal and how their season has come to be where they are. We're talking about whether Arteta is Moses or Tommy said whether Moses, Joshua, anybody, that Arsenal is a cost land and that probably don't even want to get to the promised land. And Ayubola was here explaining that Arsenal are close to the promised land, or they are in the promised land, but I'll let you finish.
I mean, yeah, so, I mean, in the Bible, they got to the promised land. But before they could enjoy the promised land, they had to
uproot the giants.
Like, people were already there.
Giants
they had to
were
remove people that were there, and then take it. So Arsenal are there just to take the final step. I mean, what Arteta has done over the past 3-4 years was, I mean, he took over what wasn't really good from Emery, and then he raised them to a level just to take the final step. I mean, for various reasons. One of the reasons was what we talked about not having, I mean, a top 30, 40 goal contributor. I mean, that's one of the reasons. But there are other reasons why we've not been able to make that final step. And I mean, what Tommy was saying about Arsenal is what I'm also reiterating, that Arsenal as an institution don't feel like they are pushing to make that final step. They're comfortable just being around. Just being there.
So
there's no difference between financially winning the Premier League and being second and third to the Americans. Really, there's no difference. That joy is for the fans and medals for the players.
So far their books are okay.
Since when did you start feeling like that?
I mean, for a while. I mean, from the Wenger days.
No, but I mean, you guys were really blistering from at least 2000 to 2004.
After that, after the stadium.
So what happened?
Once Kroenke became...
Once Chelsea came in with the money,
Yes.
obviously the owners had to, for us to compete, we also have to look financial. And then the stadium move came. I mean, the stadium move started selling big players. And then the turn just... Maybe you look at, looking at football, when you're running a club, the footballing part of it was probably 50%, financial part of it was 50%. But now the focus became financial. Wenger had to run at a profit. If you look at the last 10 years of Wenger, before the Ozil purchase, it was at the profits, and that was people were making transfer losses. Wenger was running at a profit, so you could tell that. I mean, the focus of Arsenal was just being there. Wenger was performing miracles with what he was doing, even though obviously he still had some blind spots and all. But Arsenal as a club, generally, we're not pushing for the manager to bring success to the club, footballistically, just financially. And that is where we still are now. Arteta has done a good job to get us to a level, but just to make that final step for various reasons, and not just that reason that I talked about. There are other reasons. Squad building is one of them. Tactics is one of them. I mean, obviously, that reason that I talked about as well is one of them. So that's why I just feel, I mean, everything has come home to roost this season. If you look at it from the surface, a team that has 4 or 5 forwards injured, being second, the manager will say, I've done a very good job. I'm second with this kind of injury crisis. Liverpool had an injury crisis the season after they won the league.
And finished fourth, I think.
You saw how they struggled. But the question is, how did we get to this point? And that's my problem with Arsenal Football Club.
Well, the reason he was talking about was me saying in August that Arsenal needs somebody that was going to push Erling Haaland, someone that was going to match his numbers. But
I still don't...
let's move to Tommy now. And let's move it from whether Arsenal is good enough in terms of their objectives for the season, or is Arteta actually a... Because this is a man that he was always second. He was second to Pep in the Man City dressing room. So do we feel this is the best he can actually do?
So to be honest, people would think maybe I'm being hypocritical with this statement now because of my vehement hate for him recently. But I think the guy is intelligent. I think he can be a top-class manager. I think the things in his head sometimes is a negative because he overdoes it, overstructures, he micromanages the game. When sometimes you allow the players to be, but he wants to be in control of every single little detail in the game. So you know he's really good. And people say you are not a winner until you win one. No matter who you are, no matter how good you are, we're hoping Harry Kane wins the league now so that we can now call him a winner. But we all know Harry Kane has been good. We all know Harry Kane has been good all his life. But you're not a winner until you win one. It took Klopp how long before he won a Premier League title? Yes, he had won elsewhere. We all knew that Klopp was good in the Premier League. We all saw it. Like he gave City back to back. But until he won it, he was not a winner. So I'm not saying he's not a winner. It's not like he has the personality of a winner. He has the grit of a winner. But until he wins something, he's not. And I do not believe that if they get another manager now, even if they get somebody to give them quick success now, I don't believe it to be sustainable because of how the club is run. Not because of the manager now, because of how the club is run. Chances are that, I think Abela made a statement of the club was making profit. Do you know why they started buying players in Ozil? Because they needed to stay in Champions League to keep making those profits. That is why they now spent money. So they didn't spend money on them Ozil and Sanchez to win. They spent money on the Ozil and Sanchez to make more money. There was a story that Ozil's jersey sales made the money back of the jersey in the first week or something, like of the transfer in the first week. There was a story like that before Ozil even fully landed in Arsenal, they had made the transfer fee back on jersey sales alone in Turkey and in Germany. Wow. So are they signing Declan Rice and signing these guys is to keep the club at the top echelon, not necessarily to win it.
So in football, I call it floor raiser and then ceiling raiser. What we've been buying, what we've been doing with the squad is to raise the floor. I mean, at the end of 22-23 season and 23-24 season, we were very close to City, and we could see that we just needed something more, something extra. And then the manager goes and gets another left back, gets
another DM.
I mean, these are people who are very good footballers, but they're not going to
raise your ceiling.
Raise our ceiling. So we will just be there, but we won't just be able to.
So do you feel that identification of talent is lacking on the side? Because if you look at this Arsenal side, we see them as a team, at least mostly, let's say 40% filled with, and when I say 40%, I'm talking about the first 11, filled with people that, didn't do well or were not successes or were second in the clubs they're coming from. Zinchenko at a point in time, Gabriel Jesus same. I mean, going on to get Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, even Odegaard was a misfit at Real Madrid before doing well at Sociedad, by the way. But so do you feel like his identification of talent is not good enough?
No, that one I don't subscribe. I'll tell you why. There are a couple of players that you watch and you're like, yes, this was good talent identified. David Raya they wanted David Raya far before Ramsdale.
Raya is a good point because he like you signed somebody that you raised, you saw his talent was probably bigger than where it was. So
Ben White.
Same, Brighton.
Timber.
What about the guys that
Gabriel.
Why are you getting people that we're not the main guys?
So he said something about floor raisers. Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus are no longer first team. They're no longer first team players in Arsenal.
Come on. Before Gabriel Jesus' injury.
No. Like they are literally no. Zinchenko has not been Arsenal. They're literally.
I understand it. I said Gabriel Jesus.
They're literally no longer starters in Arsenal. Havertz is the starting line. Whether we like so.
So what you're saying about talent identification, I think it goes back to the point Tomo was raising about who the manager is. The players you called, they are good players at their former clubs. Even if you want to call them misfit, they're still good players, but they're players who fit into your role. What it does.
Like managing.
I mean, who you can say, okay, stay in this position, and they will stay in that position.
Okay.
The next level of players are players. I mean, Salah is not going to sit in one position. It's not going to happen. You need players who are wild.
Mavericks. That's what they are.
Exactly,
Mavericks.
And the kind of player, the kind of manager Arteta is, I don't think he can manage. I mean, at this level, maybe, as he grows, like he said, maybe he can become a very fantastic manager in future. He probably already is as a coach. At this level, I don't think he can manage.
Eagles, the Mavericks.
I feel there is almost the level of control he wants to have, it's almost even now turning to cowardice. I mean, the issues we have now, for instance, look at Manchester United, how Rashford became a Manchester United player.
Okay.
There was an injury crisis up front.
Yeah.
He went into the youths and brought Rashford.
Yeah.
There's an injury crisis with Arsenal in their front three currently. And then the player we are playing there is Merino. And we have Butler on the bench. And you cannot tell me they are not strikers. I mean, I tweeted something during the Nottingham Forest game that if I'm a 17-year-old striker, or an 18-year-old striker, and I'm doing well in the youth team, and I'm seeing the first team, we have an injury crisis.
And nobody's coming.
And the manager is playing a DM or a centre midfielder in that place. I personally would feel two things. Either I'm not good enough. But I'm not good enough. I mean, I should even stop being a footballer. I should just go and choose. Either that, or the manager is a coward. Either of the two, really.
Chido Martinobi.
I just think that's what.
Chido Martinobi left that club because of Mika Berwitt scored hat-trick, 3 hat-tricks. Bro, don't say from you. No, so somebody brought out my record on a group chat where I said Mika Berwitt was a better striker than Folarin Balogun 2 years ago. And it was a serious argument. And I said no, that I think Mika Berwitt I was telling him off camera that Mika Berwitt is a road runner. He's like Vardy. He just wants to run and wipe shots, like literally. And you need those kind of players, like one area that we call mini Foden. You need those kind of players around, like, that you don't just need to, don't box him up. Just have it. And look at the boy is balling. That boy was sold to Stromgrass for 4 million last year. Stromgrass sold him to Monaco this January for like 30 million. After that, you know, allow that boy play one game in preseason. After what he did in Stromgrass the season before in Europa, I think it was Europa and the league.
The players would see it.
And a lot of all these young players, they see these things and they're like, so Chido Martinobi going to Man U I truly believe for money. He has played in the league for Man U. Man U don't have a striker crisis. Man U don't have a striker crisis. And there's Butler Edeji, who has won young player of PL2 best player 2 or 3 times this season. He has not come off the bench. There's Kenyon Edwards. There's Ismail Kabia. We watched Anus yesterday in the under-21. See, play Max Downman, the 15-year-old. Like, these boys are good players. Like, Seb Ferdinand. I can list 15 Arsenal young forwards because I followed the youth system a lot. And he just looks at, and if you check them in the Youth Champions League, those boys, he will carry them. They will travel with the main team. He won't play them with the main team. Their own youth team will now be losing in their own tournaments.
So what's the point?
Now, but Kieran Edwards did not play the FA Youth Cup game yesterday. He's probably training with the first team. He's not going to play.
Because Merino will play.
Ismail Kabia did not play in the Youth Cup yesterday because he's training. I think Kabia entered one of the games recently. Can't remember. But he's training with the main team. He's not going to play. They are knocked out of the Youth Cup to a more experienced, because we're playing 15, 16-year-olds in the Youth Cup against 17-year-old United players, and he has taken the bulk of those players and he's training them with the main team. And he's not going to play them. It is so, I don't know, like, the conundrum is a lot. And even if you want to make money off those players, play them. If they say they want to make money to then play. As I said, I think it's borderline cowardice. It's not necessarily not being but he's just thinking, if I put this small boy now and he fumble, make I stay safe, make I play Merino for there. But then if you're going to play Merino as a 9, then you play a Tierney that can cross the ball. There are things that, sometimes it sounds like as if it is easier to talk about it on TV and stuff, but I don't say we play FM. But we play FM. Some of us coached in NYSC and at some grassroots level in the country. Yes, the stakes are a lot higher where he is. But you have a big man center midfielder playing as a 9. What do you want to do with him? Load the ball into the box. Who is your best crosser? Kieran Tierney. Why is he on the bench? Like, these things, is sometimes I think he's just too wise for himself. Sometimes I feel he's too wise. I was watching, which game was that? Was it the West Ham game? Waneri did 1-2 with somebody and drifted to the left wing. And somebody said, this one don't know anything, they go soon bench him. Because under Arteta, why you go the drift, go left wing? And it's the truth. You seldom see Saka drift from that right wing. You seldom see Martinelli. This, like, as if he has choked those guys. People don't say what I got. It's not. I can't really. Yes, every player has a limitation. But your job as a coach is to maximize the strengths of each individual in that system. Correct. If you have a Martinelli that you know he's not necessarily good in tight spaces and he's not good as a wide man, why not play an overlapping fullback and let him stay inside and head something or run into stuff rather than him carrying the ball? If you have a Declan Rice that you know his final third passing is not great. He's just a very good ball winner. And you have an Odegaard who cannot really carry the ball. Why not play 2-1? Rice and Thomas Partey beside each other, and Odegaard in their front. Let's Rice win the ball. Partey does the distribution. Odegaard focuses on final third. He doesn't have to come back because he can't carry the ball. These things are basic, but you're just wondering because he wants to stick to that system. Odegaard stay on the right with the right winger. Left winger was stay on the. There's no point. You don't have the money that City has. So I think Pep has the money to be able to do that. So Pep will like, you know what? I want. That's why if you check Pep signings, apart from Haaland, most of them are not popular players. They are specific players. Rodri was a specific buy. Diaz was a specific buy. These guys are Grealish was a specific buy. Doku, they are specific. Like he's looking at, I need a player that can take somebody on 1v1 without and is unstoppable. Who can I get? There's one boy in Doku. Go and get him. Doku almost killed Arnold. He's literally the best one. To be honest, apart from 1v1, he's literally the best in 1v1. I need more goals in front. Who is hot right now? Just to Mamouche. Nico Gonzalez is a direct replica of Rodri. You go specific, but Pep has the money to that. You don't. So why do you now have to now start playing a system to follow Liverpool?
Bro, I see tears won't come out.
Our tears will come out now.
I'm expecting that you've not fully let it to Arsenal.
No, it's very painful.
There's a reason why there's a lot of attention given to Arsenal. The hit on Arteta was a lot this particular week because, I mean, a draw against West Ham and Bournemouth wasn't really good result for Arsenal trying to catch up with Liverpool in title. But I thought I was not the only man that had a lot of hits this past week. Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports News went out and said some things that has caused a wild spark reaction. And I mean, the first thing I asked these guys before, one of the major things they were saying before is that as a player who did not do so well in his career, should you be able to make some kind of conversation or some kind of point? But I'm asking, so is it that you must be the best out of the best to become a pundit? To me, you were saying.
Yes, so I can yab footballers anyhow. I'm not a footballer. I didn't play the game. They don't
have anything to use to yab.
Yeah. You have witnessed the game. You have seen the game. That's why I don't like pundits. I just like ex-players that you have been part of the pain. Yeah, I don't like ex-players that just go out to lambast players. I think if we fans are lambasting players, the ex-players should be the ones explaining why circumstances are around. Now, I was hearing somebody talk about, sorry to deviate, talk about Arsenal's captain Odegaard, that his wife gave birth, he has not been sleeping well. Now, these are factors that people don't know. His performance has been poor over the past 2 months. If you are hearing that he's not sleeping well, that there are a lot of personal, we don't know these things. So these are things that ex-players do know happen. And so you should not be the one going now to the Carragher story. He doesn't like Mo Salah. It's almost well documented that he doesn't like Mo Salah. Now, I don't want to peddle racism talks here, but Salif Diao made a statement in 2017 that when he got to Liverpool, him and what's the name of that Diop, that some senior players in the team did not just like them. And with the way Carragher is behaving now with this Salah matter, it seems like he's probably one of those leaders in the team that didn't like them. Because he's probably now the greatest winger to have played in the league. In the league. We had a conversation, I had a conversation personally now. And if he stays in this league till he's 36, he will be the greatest player to have played in the league.
I think he's already pushing it.
Yeah, there's only one person you argue with him now is Henry. That's that you argue that who is the greatest player in the Premier League era. The only person you argue with him now is Henry. And only two. Apparently, two. This is the second one. This is the second one. So and only one in the Champions League. So at some point, and he represents your club, your city. You should be the one delivering props. You should be the one saying. You should be the one saying. You
should win the battle.
Yeah, you should win the battle. That you shouldn't be hiding under the fact of that and saying that AFCON should be taking more serious so that they can give him something. Like so, you now saying that has some. There's a cameo video that goes out. Is it a color thing?
Before we go on the break, I mean, we still have Bobby coming in. You will still talk a little bit on Arsenal because I want to hear those tears. Let's the AFCON talk. Yeah, is it because it's coming from Carragher? Because between me and you, we know that winning the AFCON is not really big in awards like the Ballon d'Or or FIFA best. In fact, there's only one best. Only Ademola Lookman.
No, so AFCON made FIFA Team of the Year for that. So actually, I give them props.
Because of the AFCON?
Yeah, and Ruben Williams. So those are
Team of the Year.
Team of the Year.
Like
Team of the Year. I'm talking about Ballon d'Or.
No, for it to be Team of the Year, at least let's give them credit for giving, because AFCON was in.
Let's stop at
AFCON
Ballon
was
d'Or
in.
nominees. Why should you, as one of the best players in the AFCON, not even have a look at? As one of
Well, that's valid, Cha. Because Olmo played nothing in his own league and had a demonic Euros. He made list. We had that conversation on here.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be our last talk. Do you feel it's because it's coming from Carragher? And
I mean, all those awards. I mean, I know we've talked about awards here before.
yes,
Most of these awards are Eurocentric.
Yeah, you're centric.
It's about Europe. So it's only normal that Carragher would say, I mean, you have gone. Even the Copa America, honestly,
They don't take it serious.
Nobody cares about who did well in Copa America.
Exactly.
When it comes to awards, only when Messi, I mean, because of who Messi had been.
Yes.
So I mean, the issue with Carragher and how he made that statement was the way he made it. There was a scoff after, and there was some doubling down.
Yeah.
There was the way he put it that he almost now felt like he said the AFCON was no major. We know that the AFCON is a major tournament and it sits on the table with other continental tournaments, but I mean, we also know that
The influence is not.
I mean, the Ballon d'Or, like I said, it is completely Eurocentric.
Eurocentric.
So that's what it is. It's not. I don't think it's a. I mean, in regards to the awards, there are other racism. I mean, connotations to
Details,
other
yeah.
things. But in regards to the awards, I mean, I don't think.
It's
Carragher is
right,
wrong.
it's point
I
of
don't think he's wrong at the base of it.
Yeah.
It is just the way he worded it and the way he scoffed, his body language.
fair enough. Well, that's it for the first half of the show. We'll be right back. It's been an interesting conversation so much. Thank you, Tommy and Bola. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back. If you missed the first half of the show, you missed a very entertaining segment. But now we're bigger and better because one of the men that was meant to join us at the start, Ateta actually bust his tire on his way. Before we go into our new topics, we're just going to, talk to him about that, basically. Bobby, you're welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. Good to be here.
Sorry about the time.
I don't know if it's good to be here. But we are here.
Apart from wanting to hear you cry, we also love your analysis. Bobby is one of the best analysts in terms of breaking down things in terms of football and sport generally. But yeah, let's before we go to our new topic, we're talking about Carragher before we left.
Right.
But how do you feel about the way your season has panned out? Especially this past week, losing to West Ham, then drawing against Nottingham Forest.
The season is major, is more or less over for us now. It's sad to say. I cannot blame anybody. I can't put the blame on that. I can only put the blame on the board for not getting, quality backup, especially as for the centre forward position. But I don't think any team can survive losing your best player, which is a right winger, your first choice left winger, and your two centre forwards. There is no team in world football that will survive that. If you take Vini, Rodrigo, Mbappe and Endrick off of Madrid, it's over for Madrid as well. There's no team that can survive that. So for us to even be second, I think it's kudos to Mikel Arteta. We'll just focus on making top four and reinvest for next season.
Focus on making top four.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Atletico, any of the Madrid. Even PSV. Do you know? Even PSV. Have you seen Noah Lang, Bakayoko, and who's the last person? That their PSV attack. Yeah.
Look the young.
He's in PSV.
They just signed Lucas Perez also. See, formers now get. See,
Get free agents.
Wissam Ben Yedder, they said he has rape. They said Ben Yedder has a rape case or something.
Yes, he has some allegations on him. Carlos Vela,
Diego Costa.
For Arteta not to even get Matisse Tel when he was available, saying he just didn't want to get anybody. He was never going to get a free agent.
So I assume that's why I said I wanted to button when you said you blame the board. I don't think it was just the board. It is the board and Arteta.
No, because Arteta was in press conferences crying out for a striker.
No, but then him saying that he will not take.
Yes, he was.
Yes,
he was in press conferences crying out for a striker.
But then him saying that he will not take Matisse Tel shows that he wasn't ready to take anybody that he did not want. So yes, he wants a striker, but he wants some specific players. When you have lost 3 of your attackers just before that period, you should not be rejecting. You should not be rejecting players.
I'm sorry, but I should say, why did you get Raheem Sterling?
That's what I'm saying. So keep in mind that we had already gotten a lot of deals this season that were poor transfers.
So you don't want to blame Arteta, but whose fault was that? Raheem Sterling looks Arteta. Yes or no?
I genuinely, yes, Arteta will have a say in getting Raheem Sterling in. But I genuinely do not think the board sat down and said, this season Raheem Sterling would take us forward. Raheem Sterling was a last-minute buy. It was a panic buy. We needed to get in one extra forward, and Raheem Sterling was available, and we got him on loan. So it was not like a board said Raheem Sterling is part of the project. It was just an emergency option to play as a backup for Bukayo Saka or whoever. But he's been a terrible buy. Let's call it spade. So Arteta was being cautious not to bring in another buy that he's not quite
the question is, it's not about buy. So let me paint a scenario for you. Yeah. Right. In this January, Aston Villa lost John Duran. They replaced him with 3 players, and they bought only 1. Don't you think loaning Rashford and Asensio was supposed to be an Arsenal deal and not a Villa deal?
Very good question.
We could not have gotten Rashford because we had passed the loan.
Let me give you the solution to that. Let me give you the solution to that. So they could have signed Neto for 2 or 3 million permanent and then loaned Rashford.
Come on, Neto is like 70 years old.
Nobody see
Neto.
No, the goalkeeper. You're trying to solve.
Neto is not.
It doesn't really mean if you are going to spend 2M to attempt to win the league, an extra 2M to attempt to win the league this season, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. You can sign Neto on a permanent deal. Take Rashford on loan, take Asensio. Those 2 deals that Villa made.
Bobby,
those 2 deals that Villa made should have gone to Arsenal.
Bobby, what's the guarantee that
Doyemale was signed for how much?
Yeah, it was Doyemale. I was going to say.
Doyemale was signed for how much?
Was the deal I felt like Arsenal should have gotten.
He was signed for how much? 21 million or so. Karim Adeyemi wanted even a loan. I think it was not the board.
You said you don't want to blame Arteta.
So yes. No.
So the fact Arteta is not the one in charge. He has his say. He has his profile on how.
Okay, should I give you one
play? He has his idea of the kind of players.
That's all because we need to move on.
He has an idea on the kind of players that he wants to come into bring into the team that plays with his own philosophy, his own style, dual winning and everything. If he sees a player that's available on the market, they have to first check if he fits the profile of what he's trying to do in the team. Martin Stell, as good as he can go on to be in his career, does not. Let's call it.
Won't he be a better striker than Merino?
Merino is not a striker, so every striker is a better
striker. So that's the point.
But it's not.
Let me ask you one question.
It's not about how good you are. It's not about how good you are.
I have a final question.
It's not about how good you are. It's about how you fit into what Arteta is trying to do.
So
you can be point where
anybody would do.
I
mean,
that's it.
What's your final question?
My final question is: did you know that Victor Ruiz that moved to Man City was signed for how much? Like 40 million or so. I can't remember how much he signed Victor Ruiz. Do you know that Arsenal had first option and was supposed to sign him? And Arteta said, no, keep that money for the striker I want to buy.
Hold on. My own final question. In all of this, is your trust still 100% in Arteta?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you can answer this question.
It is still fully in Arteta. As long as he's backed by the board, he will deliver. But if the board keeps on disappointing, the thing is, when people start saying, Arteta might not be the man, if he leaves, Arsenal will go back to 2019, 2020 days.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
I don't agree.
I don't think Arsenal will win, yeah. I don't think Arsenal will automatically win if they get somebody else. But I think there are other people out there that can replicate what he has done.
And I think
because we said the same thing about Liverpool. Klopp is going. Slot is about to stroll to a league.
No, but
Stroll.
He's a very, very strong team.
The team has finished third twice back to back.
They were on for a quadruple last season.
The team had finished.
They were literally on for a quadruple last season. When they were in Carling Cup, Trent was posting hungry for more, 1/4.
Bobby,
they were on for a quadruple.
That team had finished.
You're very happy that they didn't.
That team had finished third in the same Premier League. Arteta had finished second. Back to back.
But Arteta inherited teams that were finishing 8th, 9th.
Yeah, forget about it. It has gone. That has passed. That was 2019.
So
2025.
But now you are saying
that's 6 years, bro.
You are saying that Slot is about to walk to the league. Like Arteta should walk to the league in his first season.
No, I'm saying I should walk to the league now. Now.
Well, Bobby, you need to understand the pain. You need to understand the pain for Arsenal fan, ex-Arsenal fan that is still in love with Arsenal. I know, but you need to understand.
In December, at Tayo's wedding, I saw it. Like I saw it.
You really need to act because I honestly believe that anything that will make Man City not win the league again, Arsenal is prime.
That's what it is.
But
in January, you're not signing a striker.
Because of time. Let's move on to our next topic. One of the strikers I think you could have signed, because when it was available, people didn't go and meet him. Julian Alvarez in Atletico Madrid right now, doing well. 20 goals already this season. I think he's the top scorer for Atletico, and he's really pushing them to. They are ensuring that this league is not only about Mbappe and that La Liga, not about Mbappe and Lamine Yamal. But I do like Alvarez.
Oh, of course I do. I think he's a Simeone player. That's what I mean.
What does that mean? Who are Simeone players?
And from Falcao to Diego Costa. I'm talking about their forwards.
Okay.
Diego Costa. I mean, people who, apart from their goal scoring Paris, you see their
Animals.
everywhere else on the. I mean, from even their own 18-year-old dogs, you see their work rates, the energy. They are going to fight for every ball. I mean, that's a Diego Simeone player, and he's Argentinian too as well. I genuinely expected the season
He's having.
I didn't expect the season Atleti is having. Then the title race.
Yeah.
Then the semi-final in Copa.
Yeah.
The champions.
4-4 with Barcelona.
Exactly. And I'm surprised that Alvarez is at the forefront of that kind of a. Given that he's a Simeone player and Atletico generally, and similarly with Atletico, have been a very solid team. It's a striker that always delivers. I mean, that's just the history that Simeone has with Atletico. I mean, I didn't expect.
True, he always has
anything
one
less
of those strikers.
from him. I'm from Atletico this season.
Good talk, but I mean, when they got soloed after the Alvarez, I was wondering how's that going to work, but Simeone has made it work.
It's options.
His options.
It's options. Big man, small man. It's options. I think he has always had Adrian Lopez and Diego Costa. They've always had at least. I think they got Jackson Martinez or somebody. They always have that big man, so that in games where you need to put the ball in the box, you have Javi Galan and Molina putting the ball in the box. Games where you need to play football, you have Llorente and Griezmann. Like it's options, unlike the criminal we were talking about before. It's just knowing that you need to, and we need to give credit to Simeone. Okay. For the past 2 years, they've not been playing Park the Bus. People don't talk about it much.
I think
people don't talk about it much because they have an identity.
One of the times he started changing that was when he started getting trippy players like
Trippier, Witsel. Like he nearly went down that route. People still see Simeone as he wants to Park the Bus. No, he plays good football. He beat Barcelona's offside trap like almost 6 times in that game. Something that Madrid could not do. He kept beating the offside trap easy. So I think he too has evolved as a manager. He's looking at, you know what, I can't always be an underdog for life. Yeah. It will be interesting to watch them against Madrid in the Champions League. I think
we can't wait.
Bellingham is missing the first leg.
Yeah, suspension.
It's a nice.
Valverde has been out for like the past 3 games now.
Valverde is out.
Yeah,
Vasquez is back. Okay. So they know they have been doing 1-1 out in that team. Once people goes, another person coming.
All right, Bobby. Let's just talk about La Liga generally. Since we talk about Julian Alvarez and the good work he's doing there, it's looking interesting. It's looking very, very interesting because I think it was the Fedotton that said last week because Madrid has clicked now and Mbappe is not just scoring; he's actually playing well as well. So where do you see that headed, La Liga?
So my thing is, whenever Atletico is involved in a title race in La Liga, I always root for Atletico because
you like the underdog story.
Yeah, you could say that, and the fact that they've managed to go loggerheads with Madrid and Barca, who are powerhouses in world football, and managed to sneak in a title here and there. Yeah. It's really, really impressive. Simeone's longevity, his identity, they have a fear factor about them as well. So I like that it's a 3-horse race for this title. It's looking really tight. I mean, they have that in the La Liga and also in the Serie A right now. So yes. I love that. It's just sad that the EPL that we all love is it's not looking that.
Bobby, are you okay?
It's not looking that way, but let me talk.
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a beautiful 3-horse race. I will be rooting for Atletico, but it's exciting to see a lot of attacking talent amongst the 3 teams. Mbappe is beginning to click. Lamine Yamal is Lamine Yamal, and we spoke about Julian Alvarez and how beautiful he's performing for Atletico. So it's be interesting to see how that turns out.
Are you support Atletico for this?
I mean, I don't have any dog in the fight. So you always, when you don't have any dog in the fight, you root for the underdog. So I'm also
fair enough. Let's talk Simeone because I mean, if we're comparing him to Arteta, it took him a while before he actually won the league. So what is it because due to a lack of the fact that we don't know so many Atletico fans, maybe, or there's not much pressure. That's why he had the grace to form his own team and actually go ahead to do great things.
So they both picked up the teams at relatively low states, but they will tell you Arsenal was a giant that slept. Okay. Tico was never really for a really long time, Tico was never really anything. So there was more expectation on Arteta when he took Arsenal back to that level than on Simeone's one is they're happy he just took them there. We are glad to be here. Literally, that's what Simeone. That's so, and that's why the statement you made about if Arsenal lose Arteta, it might go down. Even if Tico lose Simeone now, I don't see them going that down because they've built over time. They've built a team that they might not finish top 3 maybe in the first couple of years, but they've built a team that should be able to hold their own outside Simeone. I don't think anybody wants to try test that yet, but they've built a team that's on next level. With the players they have, RDP, Gallagher, Cocaine, Barrios, Simeone's son, and those guys. They've built a team that if Simeone leaves that place now, whoever takes over has a decent, like you said for Slaughter and Klopp, or has a decent platform to build on. So, and that shows his legacy over the years because we didn't even care who Simeone was. We didn't care who Atletico was for a very long time. All of a sudden, they become powerhouses. It just shows how is he the highest paid manager in the world? Is he still the highest paid manager?
I think
There was a point it was.
Yeah, and he has delivered.
2009, it's been there
I
for
don't
a bit.
Tico fans because they're the smaller team in the capital. Winning a La Liga title or winning Europa and those things were not even on their minds. Arsenal, it was on Arsenal's minds when they got Arteta. So that's the slight difference between both coaches. It was on Arsenal's mind that we need to go back to the top. That was the ginger. But for Tico, this guy don't carry us go up. No pressure, no wala. And there's always Barca and Madrid that have been good. They'll always be there.
Attention.
So you can just enjoy yourself. And as I said, anytime he is involved in this kind of battle, he mostly always wins.
Yes.
The two times he has been involved till this state, he won.
It's the Champions League that's still giving him a very tough task. I mean, they face Madrid yet again.
If he takes Madrid out, if he takes Madrid out, he can get to the final. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying looking at the pathway, if he takes Madrid out, he can take anybody out.
Fair enough. Well, let's go to another team in the ECL. And this is going to be a very emotional story for a lot of us that love Harry Kane. It seems like it's going to happen.
Fine.
They won against Stuttgart again 3-1. And
He didn't score.
I feel good because it seems like it's going to be a very big injustice for this kind of man to go without actually winning anything. It's Harry Kane, come on.
First of all, you started by saying a lot of us that love Harry Kane. Who are the us that love Harry Kane? Sorry.
Okay, Arsenal fan.
Let's clear that out.
I understand why.
It's from your academy now. It's from your academy now. It's your boy now.
He's a Tottenham. I don't. Let's not involve ourselves.
No, but now you can like him though.
I can't put love and Harry Kane in the same
Are you sure?
sentence.
Now me, I like him. He made it left. He made it left. I started liking him.
As a football lover, I have no like. It will give me genuine joy for him
to bottle the league with company as the coach. That would be
to finish his career without even a calling call. It will give me.
That would be a Milo.
I mean, I don't understand Bobby's sentiment.
If company bottles it.
How many goals in the North London derby against Arsenal? So I understand. So let me go to someone who is more probably a little bit more. As emotional as I am, what's up, Harry Kane in the Bundesliga?
They won again last night, so I think it's 11 points now.
11, yeah. If he doesn't play today.
And they played Leverkusen twice already. They played Leverkusen twice already, so they almost have to lose 4 games.
Stuttgart 2 is one of those teams that you think that they will drop points at and they won.
So it's almost inevitable now, and I'm happy for him. To be honest, I'm happy for him. People who know me know
the way Bobby they give you.
People who know me know. As far as national teams go, people who know me know I usually follow the English national team. And I mean, this period where almost like us now, they've been there, but they've not just won something. Harry Kane has been at the center of it as well. He has been very close to winning something in England as well, just not there. When he moved to Bayern, you saw the issues with Bayern last season. Last season was so fun. I mean, the fact that they didn't win the league, terrible in the league, the Champions League when they lost to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I think if they had beaten Real Madrid, which they should have done.
Won.
I mean, it was Manuel Neuer and they could have won the Champions League. I think it was Dortmund in the final. Maybe they would have beaten Dortmund. Now they are almost definitely going to win the league. They're still in the Champions League, I think.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I'm genuinely happy for him. It's going to be a disservice that one of English football and one of the best strikers in European football history doesn't win a trophy.
At all.
Even Shearer that we
Shearer,
see-
at least he won one league. He won one league. He won one league. At least he won one league, man.
So I mean, it's good that there is something, because we all know that Kane is him. Whether he
wins or not, Kane was.
him. So it's good that there's something back in that claim.
Huh? Well, watch this space. I hope after this, Bayern don't go on this long for
jinxed
form. But yeah, Toby, one important thing before we quickly move, because we're really out of time. You spoke about the importance of having numbers. Kane didn't score yesterday, but Goretzka did. I think Coman did.
Yeah.
And Olise
Olise
did as well. And even at that guy, I used Bayern Munich on FC 25. The players that come in for me in the second half, I always know I'm very wicked. Because I start with Coman and Sane on the read. When I'm tired, I bring Olise and Gnabry. There's still Muller who can do something out of nothing. So it's that. That's my golden boy. I love Musiala so much. That's importance of volume.
Yes, that's the importance of sharing. So even if you have I'll give you an example. I think it was Aubameyang tied with Salah and Mane to win the Golden Boot here. Where they are now finished.
Fifth.
Yeah, check who finished close to them. I think Danny Ings.
8th actually, not 5th.
It was fifth.
Was eight. Check Danny Ings. Danny Ings scored like 20 goals or 2 that season. Yeah. I think his team relegated. You can have a goal machine. One goal machine is never enough. That's why, except the goal machine is Haaland. Except the goal machine is Haaland. One goal machine is not enough. You need your supporting cast to turn up on the day that one goal machine. As great as Salah has been, we cannot lie that there are too many games that Salah has even scored in that Gakpo was the reason why they won that game. Or yes, Salah has been the standout. But there are days where it was Gakpo, it was Jota, it was Diaz. Those guys have to also give numbers. At Arsenal, it can't just be Saka, then have it as if we miss like 3 chances. The team will later win, but you now see, don't worry. Then the day he will not cost you. Like, so those things you need numbers across Madrid, Jude, Vini, Rodrigo. As underrated as Rodrigo is, when you look at his numbers, you're like, I'm looking at numbers of them, Hendrick and Gula. Those guys are beginning to pack Brahim Diaz. Like, you just scroll there, look at Barcelona, Ferran Torres. That guy magically always has numbers. But numbers there. Rafinha, Fermin, those numbers just have to pile up. You cannot just have one golden boy. I think that's one of the reasons why City are as bad as. I think if I also said it here that day, that City needed goals also. Forget the midfield issues. They needed extra goals because only Haaland has been prolific this season. Every other person, they're Foden in January. Every other person has been done, and that is why one of the reasons why I forget the issue at the back. That also, if you can't, there was a season that United won the league. That's Van Persie's season. Yeah. Fergie just kept outscoring everybody. If you score me 3, I'll score you 4. If you score me 2, I'll score you 3, and then he won the league. I always think that that story of is the best defense. I think it's the best attack most times. Like if your attack is that good, you should win the league.
Interesting. Well, we've talked the Bundesliga, we've talked La Liga, and we've talked the Premier League, and we go to the segment where, I love this segment. I've been loving it for the past couple of weeks. We talk about what is this legend's most memorable goal. We've done Kaká, we've done Steven Gerrard, we did Paul Scholes last week, and this week, I want us to do something different this week because I've noticed that in the past weeks, sometimes some people use what somebody says. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the goal that we think. Just the goal the person scored. The team is scored. Do you get what I mean? The team is scored against. We'll mention it at the same time on the count of 3.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
And if all of us are good, Bobby, you would be the one to describe the goal for us. But if we have different goals, we would describe the goals. Okay. And the legend's names today is... I'll call his name, then I'll count to 3.
Okay.
Calm down. So the legend's name is Fabregas. 1.
When you count to 3, we'll call the team he scored.
The team the first goal that comes to your head. Not necessarily the best goal, the first.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Spurs.
Tottenham.
That's sports. Bobby.
Yeah, I think we remember the goal. I was away at Spurs. That's not when the title race. It was a 2-0 win. 2007-2008 season. He had teed up Adebayo for the first goal, which was also a blockbuster goal. But then he took a strike from like 25, maybe 30 yards out, and he went to the top corner, and it was. I still remember the commentary, dynamite, absolute dynamite.
That is not right. That's not my goal.
I'm sorry.
That's not my goal.
Wait. So that's your own goal.
That's your own goal, I mean.
Yeah, that's it. I think I know what you guys are talking about.
That's not my own goal.
When he said 7-8, I was like, no.
No, I was like,
When you said away from home.
do you
Do
want
I know what you're talking about.
you want
Go
to
on.
explain your own first goal?
So exactly. Van Persie's goal.
Yeah.
somebody said somebody
Celebrating Van Persie's goal. Next
Next
team, we
team.
saw Fabregas
go run into
And
And then we
scoring.
saw the replay and we realized that he won the ball in midfield and then he just.
you want in this, I think in the center circle.
Center circle,
Pass,
yeah.
that pass on
Went
pass
past,
two.
went past
Collected the ball.
everybody and then stopped it.
That's my
Interesting. So
goal.
which goal do you remember when you hear the name Fabregas? Is it the one Bobby described or the one Bola and the rest of us described? It's Bobby against the world again. But yeah, there are a couple of games coming up is the FA Cup in the Premier League, so there's no Premier League games. But Napoli is playing Inter in one of the hottest games in the Serie A. Guys, who's winning that one?
I mean, it's a blockbuster game. It's one of the games that you would not necessarily a title decider, but it will have a say in where the title goes. And it's a three-way thing. Napoli wins, Napoli have the edge. Inter wins, Inter have the edge. They draw, Atalanta have the edge. So it's beautifully balanced. For me, I think the teams are going to cancel each other out. I think this is one of those games where the two teams might not be too attack-minded because they will feel like, okay, if we don't lose this, we're still in it regardless. We might let Atalanta in, but we are still in and around Atalanta. But if we lose this, it's emotionally and psychologically it does a bit of damage. So I see a draw, but you never can tell. It's they have loads and loads of players. Like Inter for the past two games have been resting their main players for this game. Thuram has not been starting. It's been Arnautovic starting. Dimarco has been playing 45 minutes and leaving. Dumfries has not been. They've been preparing for this game like it's their league final. Napoli don't have that luxury at the moment because they don't have as much players as Inter Milan have. But should be a really, really fascinating game, and I want a draw because I'm waiting for Atalanta to win the Serie A this season.
Because of Ademola,
obviously.
All right, interesting.
And to add to what you're saying, I mean, Inter is still in Europe. Napoli and Atalanta are no more in Europe. So I think it has also influenced the fact that they have been rotating a lot. And because of that European factor, I think Inter are almost bound to win. I think they're almost bound to win this game. If they don't win, with the other distractions around them, they'll be dropping off points and it may encourage Napoli and Atalanta.
Can we take some talk about Inter's squad depth? They have 4 centre forwards. They've got Arnautovic, Marcos Thuram,
But we just don't want
Mehdi Taremi, and Joaquin Correa.
But yet you won't blame
Lautaro.
You won't blame Arteta.
With
Lautaro.
Exactly. It's but it wasn't exactly that.
So for their squad depth, because they always play 2 strikers.
Actually,
they have to have 4 or 5.
Lautaro always starts. Lautaro is a guaranteed starter.
So
it's like I'm saying, it's a matter of who pairs with Lautaro.
I'm saying, for example,
and they rotate amongst the 4 of them.
If you have 6, if you play 4-3, you most likely have 6 or 7 forwards. If you play 4-3, because you want to have 2 in each position. Like Liverpool have Salah.
Kesa.
So I think that works. It works in that same light because they don't play wingers. They play 2 strikers.
The point I'm trying to make is
4 strikers.
The point I'm trying to make is you hardly see Arnautovic being paired with Taremi or Taremi being paired with Joaquin Correa. It's always Lautaro Martinez and somebody else.
No, so I've seen things like that recently, though. I've seen things like that when they rest Lautaro and they play Taremi and Thuram. I've seen a Taremi and Thuram game before. Taremi and Thuram. I want Napoli to win. I want Napoli to win. So I have this fascination for Conte. I do not take a fascination for Conte, and I just think, or I believe that Napoli will win because Conte just has that. He always has that thing. That thing.
That know-how.
Yes. So I'm hoping that Lookman wins the league, But my mind tells me that Napoli Conte will just find a way to maybe 1-0, one penalty, Lukaku penalty, something, win this match, then 1-0,
Take it
and take it on there.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this point in time. Big shout out to special guest Bobby and my main man Tomi and Ayobola. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully, Arsenal. Please look at him. Please, just pity him. If I like pity this boy. Next week. Good night.